BYD just had a record month for sales, guys. EVs, plug-in hybrids, BYD is absolutely, just absolutely killing it. And what is really interesting here is the BYD Seal. People were not buying this car in China. All of a sudden, sales of the BYD Seal. Have a look at these sales numbers for the BYD Seal. It was like an irrelevant car. And suddenly, it's almost as though because people are buying the BYD Seal outside of China, Chinese people in China are like, oh, actually, this is pretty good. And now they're starting to buy it as well. BYD sales numbers are pretty amazing. And they are on track this year to become probably the fourth largest car manufacturer in the world. Now, BYD wasn't even a top 15 manufacturer only a couple of years ago. This rise has been utterly mind-blowing. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. Fantastic to see you. BYD sales. All right, let's have a look at the actual numbers here. They've just been reported within the last 24 hours. Plug-in hybrids, they're selling well. EVs are selling well also. However, looking at BYD sales, right? They were actually, this is technically a record, but only just, right? Anyhow, BYD posted sales of exactly 383,000 vehicles. So let's just say 342,000 vehicles in July. Their previous record was in June, and to be honest, numbers are not really up versus June. But in comparison to July of last year, sales have increased by, 31%. 31%. That's pretty damn impressive. And that is, a credit to the Chinese car market. This year, Chinese car market's gone, it's now hit 50%. To be technical, it's about 49.2%. 50% of all cars being sold now in the last couple of months in China are plug-in hybrids, as in, cars you can drive as an EV, really can. They're not just hybrids, they're plug-in hybrids or electric cars. 50% of them. A lot of experts think that China could hit about 70% next year. Now, is that realistic? I actually think it is, if you look at this growth. BYD actually ceased production and sales of internal combustion engine vehicles in March of 2022. Now, Volvo, they're doing the same as this. And many other car manufacturers in China, they're doing this. They're doing the same thing because the demand is not really there for internal combustion. Honda, shutting down factories in China. Toyota, doing the same thing. Manufacturers of internal combustion vehicles, Jeep, bankrupt. Yeah, Mitsubishi left China altogether. General Motors and Ford, they'll probably have to do the same. BYD's sales include passenger vehicles and commercial vehicles like buses, trucks, they even sell forklifts. Those things aren't in those numbers, by the way. But these numbers are, they're pretty damn impressive if you look at some of their rivals who are struggling. Now, yes, BYD's not growing as fast as, say, Zeekr has been. Now, Zeekr's sales actually went down a bit this month because they shut down their factory for 3 weeks to retool their production line. But realistically, because BYD's numbers are so big, sales growth of 30% is massive. Like, let's say, for example, you're selling 5 million cars a year and your sales grow 30%. You're going up to, say, 7 or 8 million. So these figures are huge. Commercial vehicles that BYD sold, they actually sold 1,584, which is growth of 50% as well. So commercial vehicle sales are also increasing significantly. EV sales, though, are, slightly down on last month. BYD delivered around about 140,000 EVs. So the other, nearly just over 200,000 vehicles that BYD sold were plug-in hybrids. So most of BYD's sales growth has been plug-in hybrids. But keep in mind, BYD's cheapest vehicles are plug-in hybrids. Now, I know they're not the Seagull. I'm not talking about the Seagull. It's a mini car. I'm talking about like family cars. Their cheapest vehicles are plug-in hybrids. Now, if their cheapest vehicles were EVs with decent range, I don't think that sales growth would be so significant for plug-in hybrids versus EVs. But that's not the case. BYD has been targeting people who are scared to buy an electric car, that are used to buying like a Nissan Sylphy, a Nissan sedan, those sort of traditional type vehicles. That's who BYD is going after. They very publicly said that we're going after legacy auto manufacturers selling internal combustion engine vehicles. We're going to basically decimate them. That's exactly what they're doing. So which models did they sell well? Like I said, let's start off with the BYD Seal, because Seal numbers are staggering, guys. August of last year, BYD sold, like 1,000. But for most of last year, BYD was selling around 6,000 Seals per month. That's it, 6,000 a month. Now, they did have a peak by the end of last year. They sold 15,000 in December, which is pretty much always the best month in China for all car manufacturers. Then they dropped off in the start of the year, back down to 5,000. BYD now has sold, last month, about, nearly 35,000, just under 35,000 BYD Seals. So they've 5 times their sales numbers. That's 5 times versus the same month last year. That growth is just absolutely incredible. In fact, growth is exactly, I just made a guess there, guys. I thought it was 5 times, but it is exactly 5 times. It's 495% growth versus the same month last year for the BYD Seal. Now, there's a new Seal out, and guys, the new version of the Seal is significantly better, much faster charging. The new Seal has an 800 volt architecture, has 240 kilowatt fast charging, much better than the old Seal, which has 150 kilowatt fast charging. But apparently, the new Seal will be able to maintain that fast charge peak, or not right at that peak, but it'll be able to maintain a much higher fast charging peak, meaning the new Seal will be a much better car. It's also got some other upgrades as well. That's the main one, but the architecture has changed as well. It's BYD's new 3.0 architecture, which has some significant changes to it. Like I said, 800 volts and much faster charging. So BYD Seal numbers, I believe, they're great, phenomenal, but they could even go higher. BYD Song, that sold pretty well. Sales numbers are down a little bit for the Song. That's a plug-in hybrid you can't buy outside of China. There was about 65,000 Songs sold. BYD sold a record number of the Chin, which is a very affordable plug-in hybrid. Very, very good plug-in hybrid for the price. About $20,000 you can get these for. Family car. And the price there is, the sales numbers are around 74,000 for July. 74,000, so the best-selling car for BYD. BYD Yen, which is called the Atto 3 outside of China. Good selling month for the Atto 3. Not a record high, but it's pretty much equal with some other record high months. So good sales numbers here, about 41,000 sales of the Atto 3. There's a new version of the Atto 3 out. The Atto 3 is a great car. It does have one flaw. The charging speed, in my opinion, is not fast enough. I think it's about 80 kilowatt fast charging. Other than that, though, the new Atto 3 has some nice changes, some nice improvements, and it's cheaper. It's really an absolute bargain right now in Australia. The price is the lowest it's ever been, and the car is better. It's got some significant feature upgrades, software upgrades. It's got wireless Apple CarPlay that it didn't used to have. Guys, Atto 3 is currently a really good deal. Seagull. There's a new version of the Seagull just been announced. I just made a video on that today. The new Seagull is $9,600. There's a lot of new media going on around. Electric's reporting it. All these different publications in America. America's automakers are all pissing their pants because of the new BYD Seal. They're not. They don't care about the new BYD Seagull. They don't care about the BYD Seagull. They care. They're definitely very concerned, worried about Chinese automakers, but the Seagull's not relevant to them. No one buys these size cars outside of China in the rest of the world. Like 90% of the world's sales, people are not interested in these small cars. Now, are they awesome? No, should you get one? Absolutely, if you can. The Seagull will be on sale as well in some other markets outside of China this year. So sales of the Seagull were flat versus the last few months. They sold around 38,000 Seagulls. Very good car for the price. BYD Chaser 05. This is a China-only car. 25,000 of those were sold. That's a plug-in hybrid. The BYD Han, that's plug-in hybrid and also an electric version as well, fully electric version as well. That's a sedan, a little bit bigger than a BYD Seal, not much, but a little bit bigger. Sales of the Han went down a little bit. They were around about 17 to 18,000. The BYD Dolphin. Sales of the Dolphin have been surprisingly bad this year. Ever since January, the Dolphin just hasn't recovered. The Dolphin sold extremely well last year. I mean, amazing sales, just kept on having month after month, record month, record month, record month. It was like, wow, clockwork. Another record month, just over and over and over. Look at this sales chart from CNN Post. You can see what I'm talking about. But this year, the Dolphin demand has collapsed. BYD have just revealed an upgraded version of the Dolphin. It's not a lot different. There's some fairly minimal changes. There's a cheaper version of the Dolphin in China with a smaller battery pack. BYD are hoping that will stimulate demand for the Dolphin. It is currently one of the cheapest EVs you can buy here in Australia. And I think it's an absolute bargain. The cheapest version, the range in my opinion is a little short, the charging speed is short, the power is low. I would not recommend the cheapest version. The premium version of the Dolphin is around 42,000 Australian dollars. It has 430 kilometers of range. It's got plenty of power, 150 kilowatts of power. It's actually a really good car. BYD Tang. Tang is plug-in hybrid. There is an EV version as well. It's an electric SUV. You can get it in a 7-seat version as well. Sales of the Tang did go down, around 12,000 sales of the Tang. Now, I'm surprised to see 12,000 sales of the BYD Tang. It's definitely not as good as a number of other options from other car manufacturers in China that you can buy right now. It's really just selling on the fact that it's called a BYD. BYD, the branding, is selling that car for itself. All right, BYD E2. Now, that's a China-only car. It's not really relevant for BYD anymore. They only sold about 600 of those, or just under 600. Same with the thing with the BYD Frigate 07. That's a plug-in hybrid too. Almost none of those were sold. Only 316, which is down by 93%. The BYD's Denza brand. Now, Mercedes-Benz own 10% of that brand. 90% is owned by BYD. Denza brand sales, they delivered just over 10,000. So a bit of a drop in sales for Denza. Denza have just announced some discounts on some of their vehicles, so that might help to stimulate demand. Fangcheng Bao, same thing. Fangcheng Bao, the Bao 5 is an electric, plug-in hybrid. I think it looks phenomenal. It would sell so well in Australia, and apparently it is coming to Australia. Fangcheng Bao sales have gone down as well. Only just about 2,000 were sold in the last month, so a bit of a surprising decline there. Yang Wang, that's the luxury, ultra premium, ultra expensive brand for BYD, and sales of those are pretty flat. 400 sales have gone down for the Yang Wang brand as well. Now, they do have an electric supercar. It's going to cost $230,000. That's coming out within the next few months, and that's a pretty impressive vehicle. Incredibly heavy, but also incredibly powerful and very fast. Yeah, those are BYD sales for the month of July. Hopefully some of these upgrades that have come out will help BYD, but keep in mind, these sales figures from BYD, they're actually very impressive considering the technology BYD are using now is pretty old. That's going to be hard to hear for some people, but it is. Think about this, guys. BYD don't have anything that's really state-of-the-art when it comes to batteries, charging speed, or even motors. Now, they're good. They're all good. They're just not state-of-the-art. I mean, for example, charging speed for some other EVs that BYD are competing with is now 550 kilowatt. 550. Energy density of alternative lithium iron phosphate batteries now is probably 20 to 30% higher. You've got the new Golden battery from Zeekr, Geely as well. Obviously Geely is the parent company of Zeekr. They have that battery pack now going into their EVs. That's got 194 kilowatts per kilogram of energy density. So really, that's quite a lot more than the Blade battery, which has 160. Now, BYD do have a new battery coming out. It's called the Blade battery. I call it version 2 Blade battery. And that will have some improvements. It'll have higher energy density than the existing battery packs. That'll give BYD's vehicles probably around about 24% more energy density in that battery. So probably about 15 to 20% more range for all these vehicles, assuming they still have the same size batteries in them. That would help them to compete for sure in terms of range of their cars with their competition. It won't increase charging speeds though up to those 550 to 600 kilowatt speeds we're seeing from other manufacturers using CATL's new Shenzhen battery and also their new Jilin 2.0 battery. So in that respect, it's amazing how well BYD is doing. The brand is very strong. Their cars, their EVs in particular, plug-in hybrids not so much, but their EVs are very, very reliable, very well priced. But BYD, I think they're probably starting to see here a bit of a leveling off of their sales. There's similar sales numbers to the last couple of months, not the same kind of growth we saw last year, month after month of just historic increases. Part of that reason, I think, is some people are probably waiting for this new technology. Some people are seeing these incredible vehicles coming from some of BYD's competition. And that is driving sales increases from the competition as well. Let me know what you think about all of that, though, in the comments. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.